Hello and welcome to another episode of Cocktails and Curtain Calls Quarantine Edition. I'm Matt Austin.
And I am Beth Young. And for the next half an hour, we are going to talk with Brian DeToma, who is the president of the board of the Newtown Players right in our backyard here. And we hope to have him share with us what they have planned for the season, what's coming up, and how's it going, Brian?
Hi there. Well, thanks for having me on. It's going well. We're just hoping we get started as soon as possible.
So you guys were in rehearsals, right? Were you in rehearsals for Elephant Man?
Yeah, yep. They were in about a month into rehearsals.
Wow.
Stop. Yeah, unfortunately. But what we're planning on doing, hopefully, is as soon as this quarantine is over, I've already talked to Terry, who's the director of that show, Terry Polvey, and she's trying to keep her cast together because they've all said that they still want to be involved and they still want to put the show on. So our plan is that as soon as this is all done with, we're going to give them another month of rehearsal time, and then we're going to make that the first show of our season. So that, because we basically have these, yes.
Well, now, are you thinking, what was your original opening date?
Well, originally they were supposed to open April 24th.
April 24th.
So we're going to have to move everything back a little bit. And depending on when we actually get started, we're still hoping that we will still be able to put on 4 shows, but we don't know if we actually will. But because they were so far into rehearsals and had so much going, we just felt that it wasn't right that since they were so ready to go, to not let them have that opportunity.
Right.
If the whole cast cannot commit to it, what we're going to plan is we're going to give Terry the first choice of the next season if she wants to try and do the Elephant Man again. And that's pretty much what we're going to do with all of our directors. So any of the directors, if we do have to arrange schedules and push schedules back, just because everybody doesn't know what's going on, if any of the directors that were slotted this season can't do their show this season, we're going to give them the first choice of next season to say, hey, yes, you can still go ahead and do your show. Right. If we need to do it next season, we will.
Yeah, the way you put your season together time-wise does afford you a little bit of flexibility in this space, right?
Yeah, and what we did also, what will help us, is we've shortened the length of the runs this year. We went from 4 weeks down to 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
It only actually lost 1 show each run because we actually added, it's 3 weekends, but each weekend now has 3 shows in it. So rather than doing 11 or 10 or 11 shows, we're doing 10 shows instead of 11. So it's going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because we're still going to put in 2 matinees because a lot of our audience needs that matinee time because that's when they come.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've shortened the run because it just makes it a lot easier for the actors, but also we found that sometimes a 4-week run, it doesn't unfortunately fill up our audience. So money-wise for us and, for the actors, so they hopefully will have more houses. And it still gives the audience the same amount of time to come and see the show. But right. we decided to shorten it, but it also gives each show a little bit more rehearsal time, which is the other thing that we wanted to do.
Right, that's very valuable. Yeah.
And originally we had started earlier and ended later to also help that, but now it's all thrown into flux, so we just have to wait and see.
It was a good year to do that. Little did you know.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? Good for you. I mean, it does, again, just more room to move around in the calendar. So yeah, that's great. Exactly. And that's also nice because the actors still get to perform the show that they work so hard on as many times as they would in a longer run. So exactly. That's terrific. Well, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about the Elephant Man, if you can. Who's in it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It has a lot of regulars and some people that haven't been with us. Chris Longo is actually playing the Elephant Man.
All right.
And Miles Everett is in it. He's playing the
Oh.
doctor. Those are the two main characters.
Great, great.
Rachel Ames, who has been in a couple of our shows, she's I guess you call her the female lead. She's playing the Elephant Man's mother, if you will. Tony Benedetti, who's been in a lot of our shows, he's in the show as well. And then we have going out of my head. We have new people. We have a new girl named Ruby who's new to our group. She's in it. So we have a newcomer, Ruby. Chris. Oh my gosh, he's been in all of our shows, and I can't remember his name. Who was just in Gene's show? He played the killer in Gene's show. So it's a lot of familiar faces, but a couple of new faces as well.
That's great.
That's the other reason why we didn't want to have to cancel it, because they were working so hard on it, and we had some new people to the group. We wanted to still get them involved in the group because it's always important to keep new blood coming in.
Yeah. A month of rehearsals is a lot of rehearsal time, so that's a lot of work that they put into that.
Put in a lot of work. They really did. And so they all
So we lost Matt.
Oh, you lost me. I'm back.
Oh, good. There you are.
You lost me. Here we go. I'm back.
You're back. You're
It's
back.
all right. This has been happening in some of our episodes. My internet's not great, but I'm here.
We found the later we do it works. So we have a little more room on the internet highway there.
I'll edit some stuff out. No worries.
Good.
So tell us about, you got a really great season, the rest of the season that you have planned in theory. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Following the Elephant Man, we're planning on doing a show called Good People.
Yeah.
Which is Terry Saggety is going to be directing. We've been trying to get him back for a long time, so we were very excited that he's coming back to direct. And it's a show that a lot of people don't know, but it's an interesting story because it really shows the reverse side of what people want you to see them as. So people think that on the outside they're really good. Turns out that you find out that they're really not so good. And it follows this woman who gets fired from her job because she always has to be late to go to work. You find out that the reason she has to be late is because she has a daughter that she takes care of who's handicapped, and she can never get somebody to babysit. She gets the upstairs neighbor to babysit, but a lot of times she doesn't show up, so that's why she's late. The upstairs neighbor, you find out, is really not as good a friend as you think she is. And the person who fires the poor woman from her job in the beginning is painted as this not so nice boss, and he's younger than her. But then at the end of the play, it reverses around, and you find out that he really is a good person who's trying to help her. So it brings out the two sides of everybody, and just shows you how people are. You see one side of them, but when it comes down to it, there's always another side that you may not know about. So we're very excited for that show. It's the sleeper of the season. Let's put it that way. We always have one that people don't know about, but when they see it, they're like, oh, yes, I'm so glad you did that.
Yeah.
I saw it on Broadway. I loved it with Frances McDormand.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
so great. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Tony Award for that even?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're doing 12 Angry Jurors, which we're very excited about. And Alex Vernazos is directing that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He's a new director for us, so we're very excited that we always like to have a new director come in as well, if we can, because directors are not that easy to find. And he's been trying, and he was very excited. And we like doing a mixture of the classics and new things, so this is a show that our audience is going to know the name because they'll all be familiar with the movie. And that tends to bring people out when they think, oh, I know that show. I know that story.
Right.
Let me come and see. And it's such a classic.
About that, Brian? I just want to ask, So 12 Angry Jurors is 12 Angry Men with the mixed gender cast,
correct.
right?
Yeah.
Is there any rewriting that goes into that, or is it?
No, there really isn't.
Okay.
When we applied for it that way, we thought that we had to have a different script, and turns out you don't.
You don't. Okay.
When they made it,
know.
when they made it available, they just said, nope, you just have the ability to cast whichever roles you want as female roles. So,
Right.
which is good because it gives us a lot of leverage. Because getting 12 men, as we all know, can be a little bit of a challenge.
Especially, in theater, yeah.
And you know what? It's good for us because there's a lot of very, very strong female actors out there who can tackle those parts and be, it just gives it a different dimension, which is exciting. So
I love the fact, so your theater is such a great intimate space, and that's such a great play for that space.
Yeah.
I feel like you're in that room with them.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm excited to see it, yeah.
Exactly. And then we're ending our season with the Fantasticks, which for us, again, I mean, it'll be the second musical we've done, but it's such a family show. We thought that it was a great way to end the season.
And again, great in that space, which I thought of your first musical, Life After High School. I just thought it was just perfect in that space. It was really lovely. It was great.
Thank you. And that's why we picked the Fantasticks, because again, we're so limited in space. If we do a musical, it has to be tailored to that space. So in a way, we're lucky it's so intimate, but in a way, it does limit us in a lot of what we can do. But more often than not, it works out in our favor because the audience is just so enwrapped; they can't help but be drawn in. So, we're excited. And that's also going to be a new director for us. His name is Jeff Spector, who actually he directs a lot down in Wilton, down in the lower areas of Connecticut. So he's new to us as well. So we're excited that we have another new director.
Now, were you going to ask the same question as me?
I think so, but you go right ahead.
Okay. I'm just wondering how you guys pick your season. Do you get directors to submit, or do you have an artistic director?
Yeah. Well, we have we put out a call in usually September for directors interested in submitting to submit to us. You can submit up to 3 choices of shows that you want to do. When they put their submission in, then we have a selection committee who goes through all of the submissions that people have submitted. We read them, and then based on what they put in as their timeline when they want to direct, and depending on what all the directors have submitted to us. So it's a long process. It's not an easy thing to come up with a nice balance for the actors as well as the audience. It's a process that is it's involved. We find it works better for us because I know a lot of other theaters, they say, okay, here's the shows we want. And if you're interested, submit. For us, we find if somebody's going to submit to a show and say, hey, this is what I want to direct, they're invested in that show already. So we know we're going to get 110% of their effort. So to us, it just makes a lot more sense to know that we have somebody who this is what their passion is. Like Terry Povey. Terry Povey has wanted to direct The Elephant Man forever. So it just works. We find it gives it that much more excitement to the cast and to the overall production when it's something the director has said, this is what I want to bring to life.
This is my vision.
Yeah.
She did a great job with Suddenly last summer. That was really wonderful.
She's going to bring to us the show they want. Yeah. They already have that vision in their head. Most of the times they have it exactly planned out what they want it to look like. So it's not like we're saying, okay, come and this is what we want to do. Can you help us? No, they're saying to us. And when it's a new director, for example, this year, if it's somebody who's never directed, we do ask them to come to the theater to see a show beforehand so they know exactly what the environment is.
That's why.
And then if they are being considered, like this year with Jeff and with Alex, before we gave them the final yes or no, we said, hey, come to the theater and we want to show you the stage, we want to show you backstage so you see exactly what you have to work with. And if you
Right.
like it and you still want to be considered, then yes, we will still consider your show. Because it's just unique. I mean, we have no wing space, we have no fly space, so they have to know that pretty much the box is what you have.
Right.
And
Right.
it's exciting. You know, Jeff Spector, as soon as he saw the stage, he said, "Oh, I know exactly why you picked the Fantasticks, because your stage is perfect for that show." Like, yes,
Yeah.
because he had also submitted another show. Like, he had submitted Company. There's no way we can do Company on our stage.
Right.
When he saw the stage, he said to me, he goes, "Oh, now I see why you picked the Fantasticks rather than Company." He's like, "Yes, and that's why we wanted you to come and see theater." It's a shock. So a lot of people, when they see it, they're like, "Oh, it really is small." It's a very tiny stage. But it is. But
it works beautifully. And the newer stage, the newest stage, is actually quite a bit deeper.
Yes.
Than what was there previously. So there is quite a bit more room.
We actually added about probably 5 to 6 feet in depth to it. Right. That the directors can use.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, the sets have been great. It looks great. It really does.
Thank you. Yes. Now, a lot of that credit goes to Nick Kay, who's a magician.
Yeah, he works magic.
He works magic with us. He definitely does.
Yeah.
Yes, he's one of our unsung heroes. Without him, I wouldn't know what to do. He's like my right-hand man.
Everybody needs one, and he's a good one to have.
And he's actually the head of the play selection committee as well. So he does, and that's why he's head of the play selection committee, because he knows what will work.
Right.
He has, when and they have these big grandiose ideas, he'll be like, "No, we really need to tell them to rethink this idea, because it's just not going to work."
That's very thorough. That's a very thorough process. That's impressive. How many submissions do you get?
Oof, it can vary. Like this year for the selection committee, we had about 40. Unfortunately, some people right off the bat, they send things, even though we have a clear guideline on our website, we have a clear submission guideline. It's amazing how some people don't pay attention to the guideline. So right off the bat, some of them we do have to say, "Sorry, but it's just not going to work for our theater." But most people, because most directors, they'll submit 2 or 3. So we, like this year, we had probably 30, I think we had 36 this year. So, but the good thing is our play selection committee has 6 people on it. So usually what we'll do is we'll split up the plays and everybody will read a couple of them, and then we come together and everybody gives their original thought, and then we pass them all around again so we can get another idea and another point of view. So it takes probably like 4 or 5 meetings for the play selection committee to get a good idea of, okay, we've got it narrowed down to what we think is going to work. So, but yeah, it can be a long process. And unfortunately, we give people a whole month to submit, but most people wait to the very last minute to submit. And we get them at the very last minute, and then we have to do a lot of work in a quick, short time.
Short amount of time, yeah. A lot of us work best under pressure.
Yes.
Whether it's deadline, we're going to get it done right on the line. Is there anything that you're thinking of doing in the theater to accommodate this gap in performing time, or? I mean, I know.
We do. Well, I've been thinking about that. We actually have our next board meeting is next Tuesday, which we're doing. I think we might do it by Zoom now. But we are gonna. I want to, once this all happens and we know we can get back into the theater, I'm actually gonna schedule an open house and like a come to the theater to get people just to come back to the theater so they can see it. And we'll have like a little bit of entertainment, but not a lot, but just for people to get out and come to the theater so they can see us before coming to see a show. And then I've also had a couple of people who, actually Matt knows this, Rick Hoda has asked me if we'd be interested in having an evening of improv at the theater. So that's something that I'm trying to get the board to see if we'll do that, to fill in some gaps here and there, just so that people can still come to the theater. So yeah, we are thinking of ways to do that to to get people out, because people are going to, when they can, people are going to want to come
Yeah.
out. So definitely going to want to have things for them. We might even do an evening of a couple of one acts. Again, we're going to try and get more of a handle on that at our next meeting, and then whenever this happens. Although now they're telling us that they're extending this quarantine for another 30 days. So God knows what's happening.
Oh, I didn't even hear that yet. I'm trying to avoid the news for 2 hours.
I only allowed myself a half an hour listening to the bad news, but
Yeah.
that's what I sort of heard. I was like, uh-oh, they're extending this quarantine, so people are going to be not happy.
Yeah.
But yes, to answer your question, I am trying to come up with ideas to have a couple of days here and there where we have something different for people to come in to the theater. And actually, we have last year we actually had a jazz group come in to do a concert, and one of the women on our board, Ella, she's now on our board. She knows she's involved with those people, so it could be something like that we do. So when we know definitely we're going to do it, I'm also going to put out feelers if people have ideas to bring to us. That's going to be great too.
Good.
The more we can have happening for people to come and get out, the better. Plus, we have our new patio, so if it's going to be summer, we'd like to be able to have people out.
That's a nice addition.
Well.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Where is the patio?
It's actually when you go into our lobby, right when you go into the theater, the door to the theater, there's another door that goes out to the exit. Out that door is Terry Pool. They actually did it. It's all landscaped and there's seating out there.
Nice addition.
So if it's a nice summer day, we can have people go out there. That's why if we have an open house, it would be perfect. If it's a nice day out, people can be outside, people can be inside. They can.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah. We've been asking everybody that we're talking with along the way if there's anything they can think of to kind of put out there that would be helpful for them. Any, obviously fundraising is always critical, but any needs, volunteer, whatever that you'd like to throw out there that you'd like to have people be aware of.
We're always looking for volunteers. We're always looking for people, especially if anybody wants to learn, and they don't even have to know. If anybody wants to learn how to be a stage manager, or everybody wants to learn how to do lighting, we have people on our board who would love to teach them, or people who want to volunteer and don't know what to do. We can always have them come and help sell refreshments. We can have them help any way they can. They can always come and help at rehearsal. We always need somebody at rehearsal just to stay on the book and read the book. So we're always looking for volunteers, always. And we're willing to train people. In fact, this year, 2 of our stage managers had never done it before, so we taught them what to do. So unfortunately, they both went to school, I believe, but that's like the perfect thing for us. Is it's something that somebody can learn to do, and it doesn't have to involve a lot of their time until the show goes up, but it's a way, if they want to learn what goes on in the show, it's the perfect way to get started.
Yeah, so that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And you invite them in with that, kind of, we'll show you how it's done here on the training. We'll show you how it's done by people who've done it 100 times. So that's great. Great. Good. Well,
Hello? No, I don't think
is there anything else that you'd like to share about this time? Theater, anything before we say goodbye?
No, we just want everybody to be safe, and we just can't wait to have our place open for people to come and just join.
Are you there?
I'm here. This is going to be a fun editing job for me.
Wrapping up,
I'm here.
actually. So So is there anything else you wanted to ask Brian about? Because we were just wrapping up here.
No, I think I'm good. Yeah, I think we covered everything. Thank you very much, Brian.
No, thank you guys. I love coming on here and love talking to you guys.
And we love having you.
As soon as I know when we have more stuff happening, you guys will be the first to know.
Definitely reach out and share that. Okay.
Great.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
guys.
Brian.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.